How you doing? This is Mr. Johnson. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about Edmodo. Edmodo is a way to post things, post open-ended questions. It has a lot of activities and formats you can use so I can assess you. One thing you need to realize is that it is secured. There are no friend requests, things like that, but it has the same interface as Facebook. Now, before we get started, what I want you to do is actually what we're going to do today is get started, but I want you to realize this: the objectives. This is what you're going to do or have done by the end of this session. First, you're going to sign up for Edmodo with the criteria that I have set for you. I'll show you the basis of Edmodo, how to navigate around, things like that. Explain why we're venturing into Edmodo, how to post things, some best practices for Edmodo, some do's and don'ts, and some things I can suggest that you probably don't want to do on Edmodo. Different ways to access it. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, the criteria is simple. For your username and password, I want you to use the first letter of your first name, your last name, and your lunch number. So that's what I want you to do. First letter of your first name, last name, and your lunch number. Now use this for both your username and password. And the reason why is because if I let you sign up with your own password, it'll be hard for me to keep up with all those things. If you have done this in some other class, that is fine. I will give you the code so you can actually go in and join the class. There's no need for you to make 2 or 3 Edmodo accounts to have to keep up with. That's one of the good things about Edmodo. You put the code in, it enrolls you in the class. But you need to remember what you will see. You will see the information from that class and the information from my class and any other classes you have through Edmodo. Now, what you want to do is first, what I'll probably do, I could show this in steps, or I could just show you and then play this one time, and you can hopefully do it from there. But the first step is to navigate to my home page. You go to the Statesville Middle website, you click our staff, you go to my name, and then you will actually come up to this point here. Now, once you get to my web page, what you want to do is you want to click on Student Resources. What I have done, I have created an Edmodo link for you, which it will stay up. I'll keep this up. These are the 3 things that I like keeping up: SAS, Quizlet, and Edmodo. So I want you to stay up on those. Next, what I want you to do is go to the Edmodo link and you'll click. Alright, now what it's going to do, let me sign out right quick. I've been messing with it already. Now, here's what you're going to have. What you're going to do is you're going to go down to I am a student and you're going to click there. Alright, now, some things that you need to have. You need to have a username, which I told you what it's going to be. It's going to be the first letter of your first name. For example, B, and then now this is mine. This is what I have in, but you will put your own criteria in this blank. And for your password, you're going to do the same thing. But now the password, when you put it in, it's going to be dots. So make sure that it is the same here. Okay, you might want to double check it, make sure it's the same. Because I've had people in the past that miss a letter or make a capital letter or anything like that in the username, the same thing do for the password, and they can't sign in. Okay, so make sure you do that. I'm going to back this out. Now, next thing you're going to do, you have to put your first name and last name. That's required. If you see email, email is optional. Now, one thing you can't do, you can't sign into my class without a group code. So by this time, you should already have a copy, and I would like those back at the end of the session. I will have a designated area where you can drop those off on your way out. But I want you to have a group code. With this group code, you're going to enter it in. When you enter in that group code, then it's going to let you sign in. Now, pause right now and let you have a chance to do that part. Now, mine is going to look a little bit different from yours because I'm administrator of the group. But here's one thing that you will need. You will need, on your side, it'll show you the groups that you're enrolled in. Okay? Now, some things I could do for you, things I will do for you actually. I will send messages, which you'll be able to do. I can also send alerts to you, and I can also post assignments, okay, with specific due dates. So make sure you pay attention to those. So, I can make quizzes and create a quiz, and I will submit it to you. And the last one is a poll question. Now, this poll question will be pretty simple. It could be just a quick check on who can do what or who can answer what. And this will be a quick assessment for me to see what I need to teach that day or how many people know this. And it will not be specific to the person. It'll just be a total overall. Now, don't forget you'll have two group codes. Once you sign in, there should be another group code underneath the class group code. One is going to say your class period. It's going to have the period, have the code, and the next one is going to be for the grade actually for my class, all my classes together. I created those because sometimes I can post one thing and it'll go to the whole class. It could be a CA, it could be, a essay question, and I want to see the whole class, or it could be a class discussion. This way we can kind of streamline the discussion. And if I have one class that got a concept that I use one strategy for, and one another class that has another strategy, maybe that hopefully some way we can all communicate and pull together ideas, and hopefully you can learn from somebody from another class, so it's not totally isolated. But I will post stuff to separate classes depending on how far we are, or might be something one class don't get that the other class gets. So don't worry about trying to monitor that. You'll either see something to eighth grade class or you'll see something to specific people. I can do it a lot of different ways. All right. Now, what you need to realize is that you will also have postings. Now, with these notes, also known as postings, we can post things. Now, some best practices in this. Number one, I would I would not post anything that you would not want an administrator to see. Had a couple incidences in the years past where I had someone post a not so good thing about somebody else, and it ended up going through the office, and there was some repercussions and consequences. There are some best practices. Now, one thing you need to realize, even though this looks like social media, this is a form of guarded social media. One thing you have to realize is this: this is for education only. You have, for the social aspect of it, you have other avenues, other forms of social media: Twitter, Facebook, Kick, text messaging, all those other things. So this is for you to express ideas about the class, about a topic, to get homework. Uh, I had some incidences where people were absent and they could go through and they could actually use this. So that is some of the things that I want to actually venture. I did test your readiness, and I was going to actually venture into the blogs, but I said, well, since some of the students did so good with the blog, I figured it'd be easy just to do Edmodo, and we'll go from there. Okay. I'll let you sign up now. Make sure you take your slip. Make sure you use the exact criteria. And if you already have one from another class, you're welcome to sign on and use that group code, the proper group code for your class period, and go from there. And I will monitor your progress as far as you sign up. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll be standing in the back of the room. Thank you. One last thing, I just want to tell you that I usually use between Edmodo and between the school website. It's a one-stop shop. Sometimes I take things and I'll dump them all in Edmodo, links, files, PDFs files, things like that, so you can print those out. If you're not at school that day, or you can click those links and some YouTube links, things like that. So I call Edmodo and I call the school website, I call it Walmart, because when you go to Walmart, you can get almost anything that you need. Anything from nails and bolts and screws and things like that, all the way up to milk and cereal. So that's why I call it Walmart. So basically, like I said, anything I tell you, I'll say, hey, I just posted on Edmodo and be done with it. So anyway, just thought I'd mention that to you. Uh, Thanks again. If you have any questions, again, I'll be standing in the back of the room.